Hi, my name is Lainey, and I'm going to be talking about managing information, communication networks, and leadership. If your team knew exactly what was happening across the organization in real time, how much faster do you think that big decisions could be made within the organization? Today, I will discuss how information, networks, and communication can make that possible. This is relevant to all of us because we will all be entering the workforce soon, and all of these things are essential in creating a good culture and a good environment within the organization. I'm prepared to share information with you all that I've gained from TED Talks, YouTube videos, chapter readings, and much more. I've gained so much valuable information that I'll be sharing with you today in this presentation. I'll be discussing Simon Sinek's Why Good Leaders Make You Feel Safe, Seth Godin's How to Get Your Ideas Spread, and lastly, I will share 5 Ways to Lead in an Era of Constant by Jim Hammerling. In Seth Godin's TED Talk, How to Get Your Ideas Spread, he states that we live in a world where we deal with tons of choices and information all the time on repeat. But the key to having successful marketing is to make something that stands out or is worth talking about. He also says that traditional marketing is simply focused on mass appeal, which is no longer something that works in today's society. Godin highlights that people are only focused on what's new and things that stand out versus the ordinary and what we expect. For example, he states that you will rarely ever find someone who will pull over on the side of the road because they see cows, because it appeals to us, or so on. But if this was to change and they were purple cows, we would probably all pull to the side of the road because it's something new, something fresh, something exciting, and we all are appealing to it. This is something that we all haven't seen before, so it all appeals to us naturally. To get your ideas spread, leaders must create and design products or messages that are not simply just good, but are extraordinary, meaningful, and good. Doing this will inspire conversation and promote sharing within other people. When it comes to innovation, Godin shares that correlation through examples such as the cows I mentioned previously and other organizations like Krispy Kreme and JetBlue Airways. This is the one thing that these all have in common is that they all stand out because of their distinct differences within their logos, brands, organizations, etc. Godin refers to the idea that safe is risky and risky is safe. Innovation requires people to take risks and stand out rather than fit in. When it comes to organizations, this could simply mean that effective marketing and leadership are all about creating experiences that people naturally want to share or find appealing to them and want to show other people. This brings us into Simon Sinek's TED Talk, where Why Good Leaders Make You Feel Safe. He explains that leadership is not just about authority, but is also about creating an environment where people can feel like is trusted and that they can trust others. Sinek states that good leaders make people feel safe when employees believe that leaders within their organization would protect and support them. This sense of trust naturally occurs when this happens. Trust within an organization allows people to work more efficiently and effectively with one another. Sinek also shares an illustration of a concept called the circle of safety. And when explaining how leaders make people safe and feel like they are protected, he compares this to when leaders prioritize people last and put self-interest over others, and then fear becomes involved. This fear breaks down the trust and safety within the collaboration of people and within the organization and leads to a lack of trust. Sinek also explains that something called creating psychological safety, and that it strengthens organization collaboration because people feel able to focus on solving problems and creating things instead of protecting themselves. When people feel safe in any environment, they are more likely to share ideas, take big risks, and support others in doing the same thing. This is especially true in the work environment. Sinek states that people give their blood, sweat, and tears for organizations because they feel protected and cared for by their leaders, not because of any other outside reason. Employees in an organization are willing to take risks and sacrifice for their leaders because they know that they would do the same thing for them. Trust and safety are really big factors in a successful organization. And this brings us into Jim Hammerling's TED Talk, 5 Ways to Lead in an Era of Constant Change. He discusses 5 imperatives that significantly strengthen organizational communication. First, inspiring people through purpose. This means that leaders provide a shared language or a narrative that allows people to understand why change is happening and can engage in that language or narrative emotionally. This emotion behind communication makes things much more serious and compelling. The next imperative is going all in, and this helps avoid mixed messages within an organization. Communication is more consistent when everyone goes all in and are more credible. It is more credible in the long run. Third, we have enabling capabilities, which basically means that communication is not just about what will change, but also about how people will be supported throughout that change. Doing this will reduce speculation within the organization itself. The next imperative is a culture of continuous learning. Communication is an organization and an ongoing two-way conversation. This could look like sharing your major success or major failure openly and getting feedback and recognizing that you're learning openly. It is not just a one-way road, it's a two-way ongoing road. Lastly, directive yet inclusive leadership means that communication is seriously layered. Communication gives structure in many different aspects, direction, but also promotes voice and input. Hemmerling's 5 imperatives help form a great framework for leaders and are needed in order to lead change in a more human-oriented approach. I've discussed Simon Sinek's Why Good Leaders Make You Feel Safe, Seth Godin's How to Get Your Ideas Spread, and lastly, I shared 5 ways to lead in an era of constant by Jim Hemmerling. These all play into the importance of managing information, communication, networks, and leadership. Thank you.